Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. And thank you very much for coming out to be a part of the 20th edition of the African National House. We want to appeal for us that we
distinguished guests, esteemed dignitaries, captains of industries, policymakers here present, innovators, investors, and every builder of Africa future gathered here today. It's indeed our pleasure to have you in our midst this morning. Please, I would like you to do just one quick thing. I don't think it's quite very, very simple. Just turn to your neighbor and smile. Forget about whatever you're thinking, what you left at home or what you left at the hotel, but just right now, just turn to your neighbor and smile. Thank you. All right, all right. Good morning from us here at the podium right here. My name is Queen Rita. I'm also one of your hosts.
And I am Ben 200, half human, half amazing.
I like that part. Whenever he says half human, half amazing indeed. You are welcome to Abuja. You're welcome to Transcorp Hilton, where in this room, conversations will hold about Africa's housing. And I'm very sure for the next few days, the conversations will be held here. Will be much more. So that's a lot will be happening. But before that, some of our guests here present.
May I appreciate the chairman for today's occasion and former president of the Senate of Federal Republic of Nigeria, distinguished Senator Chief Pius Ayim, GCON. Please put your hands together for him. May I also specially appreciate the Honorable Minister of Housing and Urban Development, His Excellency Engineer Mutakara B. Dharma. You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much. The story is strong, and he's the real definition of hitting the ground running. Thank you very much, sir. And we also specially appreciate the man whom we have waited for many years, named FCT Minister, so he can transform our FCT the way he transformed Cross River. But we still hope that very soon they may call him up to do it for the entire country. Especially appreciate the former governor of Cross River State. Please put your hands together for him. We want to specially appreciate all the visitors who have come in. Minister of Housing from Liberia, from Sudan, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Kenya, Uganda, Morocco, and Cote d'Ivoire. Please put your hands together for them. We also especially
our midst here. The Emir of our state. He's also the father of the day, Malam Ibrahim Usman. Please, a round of applause, a resounding round of applause for the Emir of Nasarawa State. Emir Malam Ibrahim Usman Jibril, CEO. Please, a round of applause. Make it resounding, please. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, to recognize Africa holding the group. Would like to recognize Mrs. Niela Andem Ewa, SAN. Please, a round of applause for her. Thank you very, very much. We'd also like to recognize in our midst this morning, all the way from Liberia, the Liberia Housing Authority Director, in the person of Honorable Florence K. Jibe. Please, a round of applause. Thank you very much for being in our midst. You look beautiful, ma'am. We'd also like to recognize, I'm pleased with a resounding round of applause. We'd like to recognize the Senior Advisor, Trade and Investment Office of the President in Liberia. Please, a round of applause for Ambassador Bill Quincy Sandy. Thank you very much, sir, for being in our midst. Thank you. We'd also like to recognize Adeniro from the Statistician General of the Federation. Please, a round of applause for him. Please, can you wave as we recognize you? Thank you. We'd also like to recognize Dr. Frank Kemande, all the way from Kenya, the President Housing, CEO MBS, represented here by Ayo Anthony, Director of Prices and Trade Department, NBS. Please, a round of applause. Can we see your hand? With a wave. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for being in our midst this morning. We'd also like to recognize Honorable Architect. Please, a round of applause for being in our midst. To recognize the Nigerian Institute of Building, Honorable Builder Bimbo Kolade. Please, a round of applause. The President. Thank you very much. We'd like to recognize the President's Zimbabwe Building Contractors Association and the passing of Dr. Tanase Manzungun. Please, a round of applause. Thank you very much for being in our midst.
We also specially accept the Chan second for. Also with us, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, is the Plateau State contingent led by the Honorable Commissioner for Land, Survey and Town Planning, Barrister Niam Guy. You're welcome. Please put your hands together for her. Thank you very much. Thank you. We are very grateful. We have also from the Project Management Office, UN Habitat, Nairobi, Kenya, Ms. Jane Lumumba. You're welcome to Nigeria. Thank you very much. May I also specially appreciate our board chairman, who I dare say was the earliest to be here today because of commitment to time and respect for this project. Environment Advisory Board of His Excellency Surveyor Suleiman Hassan Zarma. You're welcome, sir. Please put your hands together for him. Let me also appreciate a few other members of our board who are here. We want to specially appreciate Mr. Adeyemi Akinlusi, MD CEO of Lekki Worldwide Investments Limited. Please put your hands together for him. Also here we have Reverend Dr. Surveyor Ugochukwu Chime, Chairman of Copen Group. Please put your hands together for him. We have also with us the former president of the NITP, Town Planner Olutoyin Ainde, fellow Nigerian Institute of Town Planner. Please put your hands together for him. Permit me to also speak of Alethea Capital, architect Olajumoke Akinwumi. You're welcome, man. Please put your hands together for him. We'll take these board issues very far. The Chief Executive Officer, Partnership Africa Limited, Dr. Emmanuel Akinwumi, also with us. Please put your hands together for him. Very much. I especially appreciate the Chairman of Cooperative, Femi Adewale. Please put your hands together for him. Former Coordinator, Abuja Metropolitan Council, Shoaib is also one of our board members. Thank you very much for, and we sincerely appreciate you.
We'd also like to recognize in our midst the President Association of Public Health Physicians of Nigeria, here present this morning, Dr. Tefa Kene. Please, a round of applause. Thank you very much in our midst.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we will need to commence properly. And on that note, I want to ask us that we just be on our feet as we honor Nigeria by taking the national anthem to formally commence proceedings.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all and proud to serve our sovereign fatherland. We are
Thank you very much. You have done both the anthem and the prayer. Thank you.
Both. Thank you very much.
That actually tells a lot about the age of the people in this group, in this.
Okay, we'll still do some of the recognitions as we go on. We'd like to recognize the Nigerian Institute, the president of the Nigerian Institute of the person of architect Sani Solara FA. Please, a round of applause. Thank you very much. Missed. He's represented by the Honorary General Secretary, architect Nimi Briggs. Please, a round of applause. Thank you.
We especially appreciate the royalty in our presence, who also serves as the current president of the Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, REDAN, Oba Akintoye Adeoye. We want to especially appreciate you for your role, and thank you very much.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we would also like to recognize in our midst the chairman, City Code Mortgage Bank Limited, Ebilate, I don't know if I'm getting this right, Mark Yoroki. Please, a round of applause for him. Thank you very much.
May I also especially appreciate one who has been with us for many years. He has taken particular awards night, adding color to what we do. He was one time managing director, one time special advisor of Ogun State. I especially appreciate the one founder with transformation from Legacy Realties Limited into Octo 5 Holdings. Please put your hands together for Babajide Odusolu. Please put your hands together for him. Thank you very much. We are honored to have you. And so, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, while we're making that introduction, another very strong and passionate member of the housing sector, the managing director and chief executive, she who wants to give for him. Your Excellencies, of one who is the skyline where others see the man behind this, the one who for 29 years or 29 vision, he has commanded skyscrapers, he has studied why to do this and pulled together the entire African skyline to Abuja every year. Please, can we celebrate Barrister Festus Adebayo? Please put your hands together for him.
Ladies and gentlemen, 20 years ago, a bold idea was planted that housing is not just luxury, but a right. That shelter is not just the end of development, it is a beginning. Today, that idea has grown into what stands before us, the Africa International Housing Show, now in its 20th year legacy edition. Please applause. Indeed. It is just not a milestone, a testament. 20 years of partnerships, 20 years have become rooftops, overheads, and everyday African solutions, housing solutions. And this year, with our theme, financing low income and informal sector housing for Africa. Please, once again, I would like us to give a resounding round of applause for the convener, the founder, in the person of Barrister Festus. Please, a round of applause. coming, keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2 days ago, I was emceeing an event and there were 5 people titled doctor. I introduced 4. I noticed the last one had a small letter added to his doctor, so I was careful. So I walked up to him and said, "Sir, this your doctor, is it academic or medical?" And the man leaned towards me and said, "My son, I'm a native doctor." So distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to invite one like a master that every time foundation and opportunity across Africa. Owner is a friend, the media, the people, the Moses, but hope for the continent. Let's welcome for the opening remarks, Barrister Festal. Please, let's
distinguished chairman of today's opening ceremony, distinguished Senator Dr. Pius Hine, GCON, former President of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, our chief host, and the representative of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria here, the Honorable Minister of Housing and Urban Development, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muta, CON. The former governor, hardworking, innovative governor of Cross River State. Your Royal Majesty, I remember when you were the Minister for Environment, in about 17 or 18 years ago, you were with us. I am not surprised that you are again here today to celebrate 20 years with us. The Emir of Nasarawa, Malam Ibrahim Yusma Jubre, CON. We are the chair of the African National House. Members of the board of here, the Executive Secretary of United Nations Habitats sent a video welcome address, which in the course of this opening ceremony will be playing, and is heavily represented here today by distinguished 4 members of the United Nations team. We are pleased to have you. Gentlemen, my colleagues in the media, apart from being a media man, apart from being a lawyer, I'm a leading advocate of affordable housing in Nigeria. 25 years ago, we established housing development program on African Independent Television. The program is still on AIT. We are pleased to recall today that 2 years ago, the federal government gave us a license to own the first housing television in Africa. The television is called Housing TV Africa. I must let you know that we are live on Housing TV Africa, and we're also live on News Central Television for this opening ceremony. Here is my address for this special opening ceremony. Managing Director Memory, Managing Director Bank PLC, thank the Federal Ministry for the total touch. It's therefore with profound gratitude, great humility, and immense joy that I welcome all to the 20th edition that we call Legacy edition of the Africa International Housing Show. We started the journey 20 years ago. 20 years ago. We started 10 people. Today, more than hoping of Africa deserves a platform entirely dedicated to finding practical solutions to its challenges. Developers, financial institutions, manufacturers, international organizations, and development partners who achieve far more by working together than by working in isolation. Today, the vision has become Africa's largest housing and construction event that people come from different countries to attend. This year event, we are having 350 companies exhibiting, coming from different countries, including Turkey, China, India. Over the last 2 decades, AIHS has welcomed hundreds of thousands of participants, hosted thousands of speakers, facilitated countless business partnerships, and influenced housing conversation across Africa. More importantly, it has become a trusted platform where ideas are transformed into action. Partnership become investment, and discussion lead to policies that improve lives. I remember I was in the Parliament of Canada with some estate developers, and the question came to me, what all the advocacy we have been doing are the effects these guys, they are the people that advocacy has produced. I was pointing to the managing director of Brain and Hammer. I was pointing to the managing director of Cost Growth. These are the guys that we started this journey together. And today, they are the leading brand in the real estate sector in Nigeria. As founder, I look back with deep appreciation for everyone who has walked this journey with us. I sincerely thank the federal government of Nigeria. I got a letter from Mr. President signed by the Chief of Staff yesterday, and I was extremely impressed. Like someone is saying, I was told that the Minister for Housing had been assigned to himself. Thank you, sir. Especially conscious, Federal Mortgage Bank, MD, professional bodies, development partners, the ministers and the dedication support us also expanding the platform. Yes. The solutions and a former worker speak directly to one of the greatest challenges confronting our continent. Millions of Africans, leaders, farmers, transport workers, market women, security personnel, young professionals, and countless others remain from former housing system. They contribute immensely to our economics, yet home ownership remains beyond their reach. That is my concern. This must change. The privilege of it should be an opportunity available to every hardworking African. Achieving this requires both leadership, require innovation, require innovative financing system, effective land reforms, sustainable modern construction technologies, strong institutions, and meaningful partnership between government and the private sector and the development finance institution. No single institution can solve African housing challenge alone. But together, we can build an Africa where decent housing is affordable, accessible, and sustainable for all. Throughout this week, I encourage every participant to take full advantage of the opportunities before us. Attend the technical sessions. We have created about 3 conference rooms like this in this venue for this to be achieved. I encourage you to visit the elevation. Engage with innovation. We have created a professional youth innovation hub. As we clock 20, it is time for us to raise the next generation of real estate developers. It is a time for us to raise the new generation of leaders who will take over from us. The Legacy Edition introduces new opportunities, new initiatives designed to shape the future of housing in Africa, including the IHS Innovation Hub, expanded investment forums, strategic engagement platforms, dialogues, and the recognition of outstanding individuals and institutions champions housing initiative. This initiative reflects our commitment not only to celebrating the past, but also preparing produce new ideas. Conference, let it inspire, let it strengthen regional collaboration. Reasons why we have many countries here today. I think yesterday I called Transcorp meeting that I have. We have some people who want to check in. And the MD of Transcorp said, Festus, our room are booked fully by your team for the next 1 week. I hereby invite every stakeholder gathered here to renew your commitment to making affordable housing a reality across Africa. Together, let us build stronger partnership. Together, let us create lasting solutions. Together, let us shape a new housing future for Africa. Once again, I welcome you to Nigeria of Africa. Thank you so much.
Someone from the New York Times had asked me whether Barrister Festus is still a lawyer. And I said it's very much so. Every year. His master's now precise before construction. And he has had a benchmark for responsible growth to balance the environmental watch. For a lawyer for ourselves, look for either a good lawyer or a great lawyer. So I asked him, I said, sir, what's the difference? Say a good lawyer knows the law and a great lawyer knows the judge. Either way, we'll win the case. We want to specially appreciate the representative of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, His Excellency, Distinguished Senator George Akume, who's represented here by the Permanent Special of Sani Aminu Yargaya. You're welcome, sir. Thank you. We are honored to have you. I want to inform you that there's a young professional. First, this is how International Housing should meet today and Friday. So we'll advise young professionals to also join them, and the rest of us can also go there to see what's happening at the Young Professionals Hub. So distinguished, of course, is one to make sure that what our distinguished next speaker has spent a lifetime measuring Nigeria. He's a student professional, a respected public servant, and a former Minister of Environment. He's a surveyor in his own class. May I therefore welcome for his address about surveyor. Thank you very much. Another round of applause for him, please.
The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, by C. Dr. Abutaka Rabedar, the Minister for Housing and Urban Development, the chairman of this opening ceremony, Dr. Pais Anyim, former President of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, our keynote speaker, the Honorable Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Tayo Oyedele, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Katsina State, ably representing His Excellency, the Governor of Katsina State, the Chairman, Senate Committee on Housing, Senator Aminu Tambuwal, Governor of Cross River State, His Excellency Dr. Donald Duke, Honorable Ministers and members of the Federal Executive Council of Nigeria and other visiting countries, our royal fathers, especially Sarkin Nasarawa, Dogo Makama, Nagoma Shabiu, my immediate predecessor in office at the Minister of Environment, fathers here, members of the National Assembly, heads of international organizations, UN Habitat and other diplomatic industries, distinguished panelists, exhibitors, sponsors, my members of the fourth round, on board of AIHS, a great honor and privilege to welcome you all to the 20th welcome anniversary tag legacy of the Africa International Housing Show, Africa's largest housing and construction event. This year's gathering has today become the continent's formation. Governments, developers, financiers, manufacturers, professionals, researchers, and development partners the future of housing. Participant who has traveled from different demonstrate to believe that housing remains one of the strongest funds for economic growth, social stability. This year's theme, housing solutions for low-income and informal workers in Africa. And because the president of the federation is ably represented here, and for no income earners too, they should be factored into what we do across our continents. Millions of hardworking Africans housing despite economies. Innovative solutions. Throughout this week, we expect meaningful conversations that will move beyond identifying challenges to producing implementable solutions. We encourage governments to strengthen enabling policies, financial institutions to develop more inclusive housing finance products, developers to embrace innovation and affordability, and development partners to deepen funding access to decent housing. More than an exhibition, it is a marketplace of ideas, innovation, technology, investment. It is a platform where business relationships will be established, investments agreement initiated, knowledge exchange, and friendships built. As we celebrate 20 remarkable years, we also honor every individual, a partner, volunteer, and stakeholder whose support has made your confidence and commitments have brought us to this beaters. We have unity to showcase your products and engage actively in every session, build new networks, experiences, partnerships, housing sector across Africa. That AIHS can affordable housing, sustainable urban development investment across the continent. As we formally decree of a we are confident that the discussions, partnerships, and commitment made here will help shape a better housing future for Africa. Once more, welcome to Abuja, welcome to Nigeria, welcome to 20th anniversary legacy edition of the Africa International Housing Show. Your participation is truly exceptional. God bless Nigeria. God bless. God bless you. Thank you very
much. Thank you very much. Another round of applause. May I especially welcome the Chairman, Senate Committee on Housing, former Governor of Sokoto State, one-time Speaker of the House of Representatives, one Nigerian loved in every part of the country, distinguished Senator. Please put your hands together. Permit me to also specially celebrate the Chief Whip of the Senate, current Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, one who the Nigerian blood Senate here today. Or more Kefi.
Something very interesting. The human body has about 207 bones or 206 bones, right? So it's in the midst of some of the a lot of people do, such as dancing. A lot of things happen, but this one is showcasing the art in dance. Bringing up on stage for a time of entertainment is a group called Dance Acrobatics. Please, we would like you on stage to come and display to us. Please, a round of applause as they come on stage. Thank you.
And all full of entertainment and premium performance. I present you the most renowned entertaining acrobatic group. Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to experience unusual. About to experience of hearts. Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? Mission Housing show that the t-shirt is about to get woo! Woo! This is premium, this is international. Acrobatics at its finest. Please do not try this at home. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Make some noise! Adila! Ladies and gentlemen, we've been around the world, and today we are live here with you. This is premium. Don't try this at all. Don't try this at all. Don't try this at all. Don't fight it, it's coming. Don't try this at all. Don't try this at all. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Just surrender because you feel the feeling taking over. Woo! Don't worry, just getting started. It's a picture in the paper and you find the potion. Africa International Housing Show, ladies and gentlemen. How do we celebrate without recognizing our culture, our heritage? This is and we around the world. Africa is respected. Culture never taken for granted. Adila International acrobatic performance, ladies and gentlemen. Woo, 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 woo. My northern brothers and sisters are proud of this moment. I know you're proud of this. This is good.
International Housing Show 20th anniversary. Now let me take you to another dimension. I do a dance circus, ladies. The dance group as they represent hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy the dance and Aquila dance acrobatics, let's not let what just happened shift our attention from the beautiful dance and the welcome arts that they have just given us. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I want to welcome you to the legacy edition of the Africa. Once again, welcome you to great event. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to take goodwill representatives from Zimbabwe, Kenya, and Sierra Leone. And first on my list is the Minister of State, represented by the National Housing Authority, Republic of Liberia, on applause for her as she comes. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Ministerial round, political strategy and investments on the by Honorable Hajj and now. The chairman and organizers of the African International Housing Show, the Honorable Minister of Housing and Urban Development, and the speak to you on speak Honorable Haja Makability, Portfolio Republic of Liberia. Of the African National Housing Show. For 2 days, this forum has been the compass guiding Africa's built environment to gather exhibitions from 25 countries of possibilities. We are here to address a continent-wide crisis through the lens of this presentation: political leadership, strategic partnerships, and investment mobilizations. However, we do not we build upon the foundations laid in the 19th edition. The state speakers, if we could apply the 3 critical recommendations made at the 19th edition of the AIHS forum last year, and I pray that these recommendations will guide our discourse today. The recommendations are the unlocking of pension funds, moving from theoretical debate to actual legislative frameworks that allow domestic capital to build domestic homes, standardization of regional building codes, harmonizing giant Today, my colleagues and distinguished of the Senate and the ministry here present, development partners in Liberia and across the continent, recognize that government cannot build alone. We must adopt international practices in blended finance. Public low income are not beneficiaries. They use economic engine of our beneficiaries are sunk economic engine of our nations. They require housing that is affordable and not cheap. We talk about affordable housing. They should be affordable but not cheap. They should be decent and livable. There is a wise philosophical saying that captures the urgency of the transformation we so much seek. A house is not merely a shelter from the storm. It is a physical foundation upon which human dignity rests. We do not simply stick bricks and mortar. We build the cradle of citizenship and spark for national productivity. We have the investment forums, the international exhibitions, the B2B networking sessions. Yet, the missing link has often been the political will to sustain the ecosystem. As we engage in the ministerial table, investors and policymakers alike, let beyond standing. now prop tech innovators to test Nigeria Housing Awards the excellence across Africa. Leaders about cutting ribbons. It is about cutting red. It's not about handshakes. It is about shared risks. Investment is not about aid. It is about yield. Let us leave Abuja having built a legacy that lasts. I thank you and I extend best regards from the people and government of the Republic of Liberia. Thank you.
Very grateful all the way from Liberia. Gentlemen, at this point, I would like to call on representative from Kenya, Dr. Frank Kamani, President of the National Housing Incorporation. Please, a round of applause for him as he comes for his goodwill message. Make it louder. Thank you.
For the purpose of time, allow me only to acknowledge the Minister in charge of housing here in Nigeria, invited guests. And from Kenya, East Africa, and it's an honor for me to stand before this great having school, Concord, and great writers had a very great influence in how some of us happen to be what we are. Lastly, in this particular point, I think, seeing the people before me here, there are very few people who have come from my background. I happen to have, when I was in the college, in a slum in Nairobi, Madare Fari. I wonder how many of us from that route, we must be few. And so I'm representing men and women who have lived in informal settlements. Men and women, those studying here, we knew nothing more but 4 walls. Not what you I'm a PhD holder in management and Africa got independence from Liberia, starting from the same century. After we cannot in Islam in Africa. is actually every 4 slum dweller today as I speak lives in Africa. Number 2, as today we speak, how many Africans have been able to access house through the mortgage model? The data are there. On average, only 5% penetration, 5% across. Compare with the US, over 60%. Compare with we call advanced economies. So mortgage, as I speak, minister, has not worked in Africa. Economy south of Sahara sector, 85% of African workers they work in the informal sector. Only 50% of African workers who work in the formal sector. German, and I work with the German organization, the formal sector is the engine of the economy. To achieve what you call is not their language. Schemes, then you find mortgage is a long story to talk about. To have where and circles, what you call organizations, through many of them will acquire living culture, they invest their housing needs according to their income. Where they require incremental housing, put a house step by step, they'll be able to do it. In Kenya, the Kenya government to address organizations, we have been put houses than 3,000. They are now living in their own homes in the slum in urban areas. What in Kenya we call Mama Boga, the workers, as you call them, maybe in Nigeria. We have been able to mobilize them. They form housing cooperatives. Then we package houses according to their own income levels. What we call incremental housing, where we design a house of 3-bedroom, but we start with a known. If you can afford 1 bedroom, we then put for you 1 bedroom, but we leave a space for you to take care of bedroom to be not necessary for you to shift because the family has increased. The house will simply grow as God gives you the income. So the key word here is this: government will should have a strong role in the policy to ensure that cooperatives are mainstreamed in the government policy.
That's a round of applause for him. Thank you for that message. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, taking us further in goodwill messages, I would like to invite leaders widely known for his reforms in governance, tourism, and investment promotion. He is particularly remembered for transforming Cross River into one of Nigeria's leading tourism destinations, establishing and promoting the famous Calabar Carnival, now regarded as Africa's biggest street party. Ladies and gentlemen, with a loud ovation, help me welcome. He was said to be the most handsome governor in Nigeria, Donald Duke, former governor, Cross River State. A round of applause for him. Come on, make it louder and better. Thank you.
The occasion, the Honorable Minister, Your Royal Highness, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, of this, thank the organizers for all together to discuss what is perhaps of any economy. Housing is not a privilege. Having a roof over your head, I'm not saying a home, that's your problem, but having a roof over your head is a right. But even behind all that, for instance, we're both enough to in Nigeria, for instance, I think right, there's about 10 million shortfall in housing. We need to know how to fund over here. The background to that is you're going to stimulate a lot of carpentry to masonry to plumbing to electric, you know, and you're going to get a lot of people off the streets. Easily, it will take 10 house. So if you're bold enough, if a government is bold enough to say, okay, we're going to do 1 million houses a year, 10 million people off the, and going beyond that, if you indigenize all the things that need to be applied in the house, the ceramics, the doors, the wooden doors, and all that, then the antecedents, the industry that you create around this is mind-blowing. Easily 15 to 20 million people in Nigeria alone could be occupied doing this. And for me, the primary essence, the reason why we have governments is to ensure the productivity of her citizens within a safe and orderly environment. So my call is that, and I'm glad the Honorable Minister is here, my call is that we should fashion a way of ensuring that we make this work. Every one of us is entitled and right a roof over his or her head. And if we do this, and it can be done, I'm not, I'm if we think outside so think wildly, we want to do that so we can achieve it. So I want to again congratulate and commend the organizers of this conference for not just having the 20th in Nigeria, but I think, like the gentleman from Kenya said, if 1 in 4 people around the world live in slums, right? Maybe in Nigeria it'll be 2 in 4, something like that, because it's desperate here. And your message resonated with us, right? You were, and it's something we can learn from, how your relatives and all. But again, I want to thank all of you. I want to thank the speakers from other countries. When share what to do it, get it right. So again, thank you, and thank you.
A round of applause for him, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. He reiterated, and I'd like to say it again. Having a roof over your head is a right. Indeed, all of our conversations and plans and communication concerning is something that cannot be overemphasized. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please, another round of applause for the former Cross River State Governor. Please, a round of applause. Thank you. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we would like you to please pay attention to the screen. I don't know, media, are you ready with the video? All right, we'll be projecting a video from UN Habitat, Nairobi, Kenya. Please, I don't know if the video is ready, and if it is, please come out. Ready.
Sent a video, but the video, if not, we'll sell it to you as CD and DVD. You can buy it later. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the next item will be also a very quick speech. But this time, ladies and gentlemen, we are bringing one who, for many years, has had the reason to hold sway at the helms of affairs of a special bank. But before then, may I especially appreciate a few others who have joined us: the Managing Director, Lagos State Development and Property Company, Vice President of the Association of Housing Corporation of Nigeria, Honorable Ayodeji Joseph. Thank you very much. Also with us here is the National Vice President, North Central Zone of Redan, and Chairman CEO of Noel Osilama Global Investment Limited, Estate Survey Osilama E. Osilama. At the forefront of Nigeria, Executive Officer of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. He has ownership for thousands of Nigerians. He is also steering one of the nation's foremost housing finance institutions with a vision for affordable housing, sustainable mortgage. Please join me as I welcome the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, Shehu Usman Osidi. Please put your hands together for him.
Thank you very much. The chairman of this occasion, His Excellency Dr. Pius and The Chairman, Senate Committee on Housing and Habitat, Senator Aminu Tambwal, the Honorable Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Dr. Mutakara Bedarma, the Honorable Minister of Agri, distinguished Senator Sahabi, the Chairman, Board of Trustees, Africa International Housing Show, the convener of this event, Barrister Festus Adebayo, the Emir of Nasarawa, His Royal Highness, other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure on behalf of the board, management, and staff of the Federal Bank of Nigeria to extend warm greetings and best wishes to the organizers, distinguished guests, policymakers, captains of industry, development partners, at the Africa International 2026, convened as part of the 20th Africa International Edition. Collaboration institution for sustaining this important continental platform that has become a catalyst for dialogue, innovation, and strategic action in the housing sector. The theme of this year's summit, Housing Solutions for Low-Income and Informal Workers in Africa, is both timely and highly relevant. At the heart of this discussion is the challenge of housing affordability of industries to access decent and affordable housing in Africa. Iceland and United Infrastructure and finance have placed home ownership beyond the reach of many low-income earners and informal sector workers. As rapid urbanization continues to outpace housing supply, the affordability gap is widening, highlighting the urge for innovative financing models, policies, and stronger public-private partnerships. By working together to reduce the cost of housing and access to affordable housing finance, we can develop sustainable solutions that make this housing accessible to millions of Nigerians. The federal government of Nigeria recognizes housing not merely as a social necessity, but as a catalyst for economic growth, job creation, social inclusion, and national development. At the Apex Mortgage Institution in Nigeria, the bank remains steadfast in its commitment to making home ownership affordable for Nigerians through affordable and accessible housing finance. Over expand its portfolio of products to address the diverse housing needs of Nigerians. Through the National Scheme, contributors are able to access long-term single-digit interest mortgages to purchase land, build, or renovate their homes. The Home Renovation Loan provides quick access to financing for essential assistance requires support in meeting rental obligations, thereby reducing with upfront rent payments. In addition, the bank continues to support cooperative societies and organized labor groups through the Cooperative Housing Development Loan, which facilitates the construction of affordable housing estates across the country. The bank is equally committed to providing optical guarantees and other innovative interventions designed to simulate increased housing supply and bridge Nigeria's housing deficit. Recognizing the need for greater inclusivity, FMBN has also introduced the Diaspora NHA Mortgage Loan, enabling Nigerians living abroad who contribute to the National Housing Fund Scheme to access affordable mortgages for home ownership and property acquisition in Nigeria. Financial inclusion and response for contributors with home financing option that is free, equal access to affordable housing. More affordable, ensure residents at home or better have viable pathways to home ownership. This forum provides an invaluable opportunity for meaningful engagement among key stakeholders to exchange knowledge, showcase innovative financing models, explore emerging technologies, and formulate practical policy recommendations that will improve housing delivery across Africa. I am confident that the robust discussions and collaborative partnerships that will emerge from this gathering will contribute significantly to shaping a more resilient, equitable housing ecosystem for our continent. As we celebrate 2 decades of the Africa International Housing Show, we must also celebrate the remarkable progress that has been made while renewing our collective resolve to confront the challenges that remain. The housing sector holds tremendous potential to stimulate economic activity, create employment, attract investment, and improve the quality of life of millions of Nigerians. Achieving this as sustained commitment, visionary leadership, policy consistency, and stronger collaboration among governments, financial institutions, the private sector, development partners, and the civil society. I commend the organizers of this event for their unwavering dedication to advancing the housing agenda in Africa and for creating a platform that continues to inspire dialogue, innovation, and action. I also appreciate the invaluable contributions of our local and international partners whose support continues to enrich this important event. On behalf of the board, management, and entire staff of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, I wish all participants fruitful deliberations and a successful conference. It is my sincere hope that the recommendations will translate into practical actions, stronger partnerships, and innovative financial solutions that will accelerate the delivery of income.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause for him, please. After going to go to MC an event, man, I said, this is the traditional ruler of this place. By the time he came to the mic, he said, my son, if I'm a, then you are either a sharpener or a cleaner. The father of the comes up. Let's clap for him, please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Mr. Chairman, Senators, members, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's a good thing for us to stand before this afternoon to make a brief remark. It's important to casually at how we started, where we are now, and where we think we should be heading to. It's about 41 years now since the FCT came into existence, and the law establishing the FCT was in 1976. I made provision of 6,000 square kilometers of the central part of this country where we are today. Real construction work started in the early 1980s. Today, Abuja has gone beyond an ordinary city. It made provision. The master plan was approved 4 years after the enactment of the law, precisely in 1979, and it made provision for about 350 square kilometers for the city. All other development will have been within the existing satellite towns of Gwagwalada, Buari, Karishi, Kuje, and so on and so forth. And with this in mind, the city was planned, and the major player then was the Federal Capital Development Authority. Therefore, most of the housing development at the initial conception was developed by the FCDA. Midway around 1985-86, housing estate developers were invited, and they started some of the housing estates in Maitama, in Garki, and the Federal Housing Authority came in to complement their efforts. But the real, actual mass housing development came with this republic in the year 2000. And there was an MOU in places like in Aura district, but because of certain factors, a lot of these housing developments had a lot of challenges. The MOU signed by the FCDA was for the housing developers to provide like roads, while the FCDA was to were and has led to, and within this period, these houses around 20 years ago were, but you have to also understand the mortgage institution was a bit weak. My brother, Mr. Osidi here, who has been up and doing in the last couple of years, we thank you most sincerely for your intervention. We thank the private developers, gone a long way now, but the issue is the issue of affordability. A lot lack some. One of the housing estate in Kara were built. Other things were ignored. But the coming of, and I believe it is the right thing to concrete jungle when the people who are supposed to be there are not having the facilities to know the estate in this estate. So we call on brothers in the town planning profession, and I want to acknowledge town planner TBJ for bringing in this ad, because it is the planners who are supposed to insist on the provisions of the master plan so that we can have a livable city. I want to congratulate the organizers and conveners. I've seen a very big show of exhibitions and new innovations are coming in. I pray most sincerely that this organization will grow from strength to strength. I want to thank Mr. Chairman, former Senate President. I want to thank distinguished Senator Tambol and Mr. Agric, as well as Minister of House, for finding their time, despite their tight schedules, to come and grace this occasion. I want us to keep the flag flying higher and higher. It is essential for the professional bodies in the built environment. I mean, the town planners, the architects, the builders, the engineers, the estate surveyors, the land surveyors, and the quantity surveyors must put their head together and work out the modalities of ensuring that houses are delivered. We cannot ignore the urban informal sector. We cannot also ignore the slum condition in some of these areas. Most of these slums are within the city proper because the existing settlements like in Mabushi, in Utako, in Guarimpa, in Katampe, in Gishiri village have not been adequately taken care of. Until we do that, until we find a suitable provision for the integration, we will continue to have challenges. But I believe with the intervention of these big organizations that is 20 years old now, be able to. I want to thank you more sincerely for allowing us to be here today. I see it as a big privilege and it cannot be taken for granted. I hope very soon we'll live by the grace of God to see the silver jubilee of housing for Africa. And God bless you.
Make it louder, ladies and gentlemen. Malam Ibrahim Usman Jibrin, CON, Emir of Nasarawa. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as I sat there, I was just looking at everyone here. I just pictured the amount of people, the amount of booths that we have outside there. And I remembered what Barrister Festus said when he was speaking. He said, 20 years ago, the very first edition of this show started with 10 people. Today, we have editors, we have power sponsors, we have gold sponsors, we have institutional owners, we have investment promotions, and government institutions. We have people from government come here every year to be a part of this housing show. Ladies and gentlemen, it will cost you nothing to dream. And when you dream, please take that step. You never know what it will be in a few years' time. Please put your hands together for Festus, for every dreamer sitting here. At this point, taking us further for goodwill messages, I would like to call on the Permanent Secretary, Special Services Office, representing the SGF, His Excellency Senator George Akume, former governor of Benue State. Please help me welcome Sani Aminu Yagaya, representing the SGF. Please, a round of applause for him, ladies and gentlemen. I can never forget the SGF when he was giving us 5,000 naira. That 5,000 saved my life in Benue City. Please, a round of applause for him.
Thank you very much. The chairman of the please permit me to some established protocol. I want to at the International Show the goodwill of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, CON. And therefore, as a duty message, I would read the text of his goodwill message. It is my pleasure, on behalf of the Federal Government of Nigeria and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to deliver this warm felicitation to the organizers of the Africa International Housing Show. I particularly welcome our distinguished guests from across Africa and beyond, our development partners, investors, financiers, regulators, developers, manufacturers, and all professionals here in this land 20th anniversary legacy edition. Let me begin by congratulating the board, the organizing committee, and the entire AIHS family for building over 2 decades a respected platform for dialogue, innovation, partnership, and investment in housing and urban development. At a time when Africa must urgently align policy with capital and intentionally target high-level delivery, this gathering is timely. The Africa International Housing Show has become one of the most important meeting points for all stakeholders that truly desire that Africa must not only aim to close the huge housing gap currently exists, but also make it decent and affordable. This view is built on the understanding that as leaders, professionals, policymakers, etc., all agreement that housing has become so many things in our world: a social need, an economic asset, productivity driver, source of dignity, and foundation for national stability. The core responsibility of the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation is the effective coordination, harmonization, and monitoring of the implementation of government policies and programs. That responsibility is essentially relevant to the housing sector because housing delivery is across, as there are need for policy coherence across land administration, infrastructure, urban planning, social, mental organization. Recognizes housing as a strategic national committed to sustain all of government support to the sector. The direction of the administration of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, is made clearer through the Renewed Hope agenda. Nigeria is no doubt moving from broad aspiration to measurable implementation. The federal government has targeted at various stages of delivery 10,000 housing units across 14 states and the Federal Capital Territory, while creating over 300,000 jobs. Major Renewed Hope cities in Abuja, Lagos, and Kano are advancing, and the broader program includes additional cities and estates across the 6 geopolitical zones of this country. We are also seeing practical delivery through rent to making the more bankable because our fundamental that investors care about, that is land administration, project structuring, frameworks, and implementation discipline. This administration also understands the scale that is required for effective partnership. That is why we are strengthening public-private partnerships, encouraging long-term finance, and supporting institutions that can deepen inclusion. Through the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, various products are being expanded massively. That is the right direction for a country like Nigeria to go. To our friends in the international investment community, let me assure you that Nigeria welcomes serious friendly that our be respected. Show you that Nigeria will continue to engage actively through continental and sub-regional platforms that accelerate housing delivery across Africa. The Africa Union's urban agenda is now giving housing a greater strategic prominence. Other key institutions, including Shelter Africa, Development Bank, remain important continental vehicles for housing and urban infrastructure finance. Nigeria will continue to work through these phases and these platforms to share ideas, expand partnerships, shape Africa's scale and ambition. Let this 20th be remembered for several reasons: longevity, and turning point for stronger action. All stakeholders, public leaders, investors, financial institutions, developers, manufacturers, and development partners must therefore recommit to closing Africa's housing gap with urgency, creativity, and discipline. On behalf of the President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I once again congratulate the Africa International Housing Show at 20 and join in welcoming all delegates to Abuja. I wish you a fruitful conversation, productive partnerships, and successful outcomes. Nigeria stands ready to work with you. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you very much. We sincerely apologize that we are not able to refer to you correctly as representing the president. However, we'll apologize and ask that you bear with us as we continue. I want to specially recognize the Honorable Commissioner of Lagos State Ministry of Housing, Honorable Moruf Akinde Rufatai. You're welcome. Please put your hands together for him. The next person I'm about to bring may either be a farmer or a pharmacist. I'd met a young girl once and I told her, I said, what would you want to become in future? And she said, I would love to be a pharmacist. I said, why did you choose that profession? She said, sir, I love farming. The next is a friend of the farmer, is a courageous politician, the interviewer's delight, the champion of cooperative societies, and the defender of the environment. And much more than that is the minister of the poor. May I especially invite for his goodwill message, the Baradin Borgu, the Honorable Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, and Supervising Minister of Cooperatives in Nigeria, distinguished Senator Dr. Aliu Sabi Abdullahi, CON. Please put your hands together for him as he comes up.
Thank you very much. Rahim. The former President of the Senate, who is the chairman of this occasion, permit me, Your Excellencies, to sit very square on the very well-established protocol. But in doing so, permit me to acknowledge Dharma. Thank you very much. The Deputy Governor, Katsina State, thank you very much. And of course, my big brother, the Tambuan of his generation, the former Speaker and distinguished Senator of the Federal Republic, Your Excellency, our boss, the former Senate President, I'm loyal, sir. I know you still hold the government. The former and our royal father, thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, sometimes establishing protocol can be very difficult, so please permit me to stand on this well-established protocol and the acknowledgement. It is my pleasure to be with you today at this important corporate housing of the Africa International. Let me begin by commending the organizers for choosing this theme, Housing Solutions for Low-Income and Informal Workers in Africa. This theme resonates strongly with the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, because affordable housing is fundamental to inclusive economic growth, stability, and human dignity. I would like to reiterate that just recently there was a housing summit, which was Star Cooperative Housing Africa Summit, that held in Abuja. And as part of that event, I made a presentation in which I stated that housing is more than shelter. It is a foundation for family security, productivity, wealth creation, and sustainable national development. Yet, millions of Nigerians, particularly farmers, artisans, traders, market women, transport operators, indeed civil servants, and our informal sectors workers continue to face significant barriers to home ownership due to limited access to affordable finance, rising construction costs, challenges in land acquisition, and inadequate long-term mortgage financing. As a nation, we cannot achieve development, food security, our decent housing. He cannot be separated from housing security. A farmer who feeds the nation deserves not only access to quality inputs, affordable finance, and profitable markets, but also the dignity and security of a decent home. Fortunately, we already have a proven solution, which is the cooperative housing model. For generations, using the traditional cooperative model of Aro in Yoruba land, Gaya in Hausa land, and Ogbo in Igbo land, the cooperative societies have empowered millions of Nigerians by mobilizing savings, expanding access, increasing agricultural productivity, strengthening value chains, and creating economic opportunities through collective action. The same principles can be harnessed to transform affordable housing delivery by enabling members to pool resources, acquire land, mobilize finance, reduce construction costs, and develop sustainable housing communities. Under the Renewed Hope agenda, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security is implementing the Renewed Hope Cooperative Reform and Revamp Program to reposition the cooperative sector as engines of economic empowerment, rural transformation, and shared prosperity. Through governance reforms, digital transformation, capacity building, improved access to finance, and strategic partnerships, we are laying the foundation for a modern, transparent, and resilient cooperative ecosystem. A key pillar of this transformation is the digitalization of Nigeria's cooperative sector, which will establish a credible national cooperative database via the National Cooperative Smart Registry with an identity and trust layer to generate cooperative verification number and the cooperative member identification number. that will strengthen governance, enhance transparency, improve access to financial services, and build investors' confidence. This digital foundation will enable genuinely registered cooperatives to participate more in national development programs, including affordable housing initiatives. Complementing this effort is the drive to establish Cooperative Bank of Nigeria, which will be wholly owned by cooperative societies, controlled by cooperative societies, and financed by the cooperative societies themselves. This will enable us to pool resources, enhance affordable financing for all those who are involved in the value chain, but most importantly, for them to also have affordable housing. Together, digital identity, financial inclusion, and cooperative banking will create an integrated ecosystem through which farmers, workers, and other low-income earners can save, borrow, invest, and ultimately achieve the dream of home ownership. Today, we must take the next step in that journey, cooperative farming to cooperative housing. Our policy message is clear. A farmer who feeds the nation deserves not only access to quality inputs, affordable finance, and profitable market, but also access to decent, affordable housing. That is the vision of the Renewed Hope Cooperative Reform and Revamp Program. We envision a cooperative society that is not only the engine of agricultural productivity, but also a platform for improving the overall quality of life of their members. Agricultural prosperity should translate into higher incomes, stronger and more resilient communities, decent and affordable housing, and sustainable wealth creation. Through this integrated approach, we can build communities where those who feed the nation also have the dignity, security, and opportunity to come with owning with a home. This is the future we must build together. One where cooperatives do not only grow food, but also grow prosperity, strengthen communities, and make home ownership affordable for millions of its members. In conclusion, let me state that no government can solve the housing challenge alone. And I've heard the Honorable Minister of Housing saying this several times. And I want to assure you that the cooperative movement is fully taking note, and we are working to see how we can integrate into that. We therefore call for a coalition of the willing, bringing together government, cooperative housing federations, housing developers, financial institutions, development partners, private investors, and others to collaborate in scalable cooperative housing solutions for farmers and other workers and low-income farmer sector. If cooperatives can successfully feed our nation, they can also help house our nation. Let us work together to ensure that every hard artisan, trader, and informal worker has not only the opportunity to earn a living, but also the dignity of owning a decent home. I wish us a very successful, fruitful deliberations and look forward to the practical partnership that will emerge from this important engagement. Thank you and God bless. Before I take my leave, Your Excellencies, let me test if there are cooperators in the house. Cop. They are not in the house. So this is also a very important message. We need to take this message down to the cooperators, who are many. The various institutions in the country, government institutions, are having a lot of cooperatives. And through that, many of them are personally owning houses. But if you work together with them, we can create that solution that is scalable and is definitely affordable. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause for His Excellency. A woman left the local cooperative and they asked her why. He said, I don't like the way they are charging me. I want a bank that will give and leave me alone. The next speaker, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, is one who will be speaking for the Senate President. But permit me to specially appreciate him in this manner. They have called him the Kiawan of Tiv, the Osage of Okpoje Kingdom in Edo State, the Obongo farm of Akwa Ibom State, the Udonyoro of Oron in Akwa Ibom State, the Bobagunwa of Ilawe in Ekiti State, the Ikeoha of Obingwa in Abia State, the Damajan Zuru of Kebbi State, the Garkuan Lafiagi of Kwara State, the Maidawa King Gashaka of Taraba State, and the Matawa Lin Sokoto. Please, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome distinguished Senator Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, OFR, Chairman, Senate Committee on Lands, Housing, and Urban Development. Please put your hands together for him.
I do not understand what you are saying. The chairman of this very auspicious event, former President of the Senate, distinguished Senator Ayim Pius Ayim, GCOAN. Where is our bag? The Governor of Kaduna State, ably represented by the Deputy Governor, the Honorable Minister of Housing, Honorable Mutakara Bedarman, Honorable Minister of State Agriculture, my distinguished brother, Senators Saibi Aliyu, former Governor, my dear brother, Donald Duke, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, ably being represented, His Royal Highness, the Emir of Nasarawa, bodies, and indeed my dear brother, Mr. Festus Adebayo, founder and coordinator, other very eminent personalities here present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am on this podium to represent the President of the Senate, Senator Goswill Obot Akpabio, GCON, who is unavoidably absent. I believe that by now he should be in the chambers of the House of Representatives, where myself ought to have been attending the Open Week program of the House of Representatives. Otherwise, he would have been here personally. It is a great honor and privilege to represent the President of the Senate at the opening ceremony of the 20th Africa International Housing Show, Legacy Edition. On behalf of the President of the Senate and the distinguished members of the 10th Senate, I extend warm congratulations to the organizers, led by Mr. Festus Adebayo, convener and chief executive officer of the Africa International Housing Show, and the entire AIHS team for their vision, dedication, and unwavering commitment to sustaining this premier housing platform over the past 2 decades, culminating in the successful hosting of this landmark 20th anniversary of the Africa International Housing Show Legacy Edition. Over the last 20 years, the African International Housing Show has established itself as Africa's foremost housing and construction platform, bringing together policymakers, legislators, investors, developers, financial institutions, development professional academics, and other critics, stakeholders to the solutions to the housing and urban development challenges come from our continent. This legacy reflects the power of collaboration, innovation, and a shared commitment of improving access to decent, affordable, and sustainable housing for all. Housing remains a fundamental pillar of national development. Beyond providing shelter, it stimulates economic growth, creates employment opportunities, promotes social inclusion, and enhances the well-being of our students. As Nigeria continues to grapple with rapid urbanization and a significant housing deficit, sustained collaboration among governments, the private sector, development partners, and professional institutions has become more imperative than ever. The 10th Senate remains steadfast in its commitment to providing the legislative support necessary to strengthen the housing sector through responsible laws, effective oversight, and stakeholder engagement. We shall continue to support initiatives that promote improved land administration, expand access to affordable housing finance, strengthen mortgage institutions, and create an enabling environment for increased private sector investment in housing delivery. The Senate also recognizes the invaluable role that platforms such as the Africa International Housing Show play in fostering dialogue, promoting innovation, showcasing best practices, and facilitating partnerships that drive sustainable housing development across the African continent. As we celebrate this remarkable 20-year milestone, I encourage all participants to take full advantage of this unique platform to exchange ideas, strengthen partnerships, and develop practical, forward-looking solutions that will accelerate the delivery of affordable and sustainable housing for our people. Once again, I congratulate the organizers, particularly Mr. Festus Adebayo and the entire family of AIHS, and all partners whose collective efforts have sustained this exceptional initiative over the past 2 decades. I wish you a successful conference and fruitful deliberations. Thank you. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please put your hands together for him. I appreciate that message coming from the Senate, particularly the Senate. So distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, very quickly, we'll want to allow for the one who will formally welcome us after the goodwill messages. Traditionally, the goodwill messages ought not to be this long because himself is a man of goodwill. But ladies and gentlemen, permit me to welcome a statesman whose leadership has laid enduring bricks on the architecture of our republic. As a former president of the Senate, he has transformed the legislative chamber into a foundational progress. Later, as secretary to the government of the Federation, he served as a vital bridge connecting policy to implementation, ensuring that machinery of government move with purpose and connection. As a lawyer, an administrator, a consensus builder, and a champion of democratic governance, he exemplifies the quiet strength of leadership, the constructs of institutions, and is one we refer to as a monument in himself. Please join me, ladies and gentlemen, as I invite our chairman for today, who will invest, especially also welcome the representative of the president later on, former Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, distinguished Senator, Chief Ayim Pius Ayim, GCON. Please put your hands together for him.
I want to say that I am convinced that the protocol has been very well established. But I know that among the previous speakers, Some stood on the protocol, others. I am not going to do either of you, but I'll simply also want to correct the introduced me as I am not one. And the only chief here by every standard is Senator Aminu. Let me very sincerely, in this abridged protocol, recognize the representation of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is here represented by the Honorable Minister of Housing and Urban Development, who doubles as both the chief host of this event and the representative of Mr. President. Engineer Mustafa Rabe Darma, please welcome. Let me also recognize the representative of President of the Senate, who had been very well introduced as Diko, which one for distinguished Senator Your Excellencies, I am honored to recognize the most handsome former governor in Africa, distinguished His Excellency Governor Donald Duke, the Royal Highness, the representative of the Minister of State, Agriculture, Chairman, Board of HS, Heads of International, the MD Federal Mortgage Bank, Development Associations President, Captains of Industry, distinguished speakers, exhibitors, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. If you ask me, I wouldn't really speak anymore because all that I needed to say had been said. If you ask me again, I would have spoken earlier, but because I'm speaking at this point, I'm no longer comfortable to speak. Again, I have a written speech, but if you permit me, I'll drop it and speak without it. But I don't know what Festus Adebayo will do if I try to drop my speech to speak extempore. However, I'll combine both. I want to say that I am delighted to welcome you all to the 2026 edition of the African International Housing Show, AIHS for short. The event presents to you the 2026 edition of AIHS, as well as the celebration of the 20th anniversary. I am proud to say that the last 20 years have been remarkable in many ways. I therefore invite you to celebrate with AIHS 2 decades of determination in this mood of celebration that I sincerely come the founder and of AIHS, the organizing committee on the event, partners, sponsors, all stakeholders. The edition has transformed AIHS from a national initiative to the largest and most influential housing and construction platform on the African continent. 20 years of impact is no ordinary achievement. It represents credibility, consistency, and vision. Today, AIHS stands not policies promoted in national collaborations across Africa. Housing, you agree with me, remains one of humanity's most fundamental needs. A decent home provides dignity, security, health, productivity. Important at this point to emphasize that while AIHS promotes housing for all, its focus is on affordable housing for the ordinary members of society. And I think we need to get it clear. Truly, all through this event, we'll be talking about housing, housing, housing. But the focus, the interest of AIHS is affordable housing for the ordinary people, ordinary members of our society. Across our continent, low-income earners and informal sector workers, i.e. the artisans, traders, transport operators, teachers, farmers, market women, young and countless others who sustain our economies remain largely excluded from formal housing finance systems. Housing is a primary difficult to capture the individual with the national data system. Housing, therefore, is not just a shelter, it is an economic index and a fundamental social imperative. Don't identify it's difficult for the national data system to actually capture you in. You must have an identifiable, verifiable, and it's only a shelter over your roof, a house of your own that can provide and guarantee this. Housing is artisans still shelter in their makeshift shops. Traders shelter in their market shops. And shelter in the motor parks. Furthermore, some without a roof over their head. A situation like this is a recipe for insecurity, environmental order. So you cannot allow people to live inside the to live in market or anywhere they found. If you do, we bring disorder, the environment. The theme of this year's conference, Housing Solutions for Low-Income and Informal Workers in Africa, reflects the urgent need to ensure that housing policies are designed for economic providing one, the role of as policymakers, the role of financial institutions as funders, of Africa challenge. Neither can the private sector acting alone nor the financial institutions without supportive public policies. Deliver affordable housing, accessible land infrastructure, and affordable finance. Likewise, the development partners cannot achieve lasting impact without strong local institutions and political commitment. The solution, therefore, lies in collaboration. Government must create an technologies. Together, we can unlock Africa's enormous housing. Distinguished benefit to us is one of the economic engineers, financial institutions, lawyers, and numerous other professionals. In other words, housing creates jobs, housing attracts investment, and above all, housing strengthens strategically in housing. As a parliamentarian, important role is increasement where housing can thrive. But more so, I have observed how deliberate executive action can promote access to affordable housing. Example, infrastructure that's developed make within that. We must therefore continue to plan that best to afford the same finance. We must reduce unnecessary regulatory deliberately include low-income and informal workers who constitute presents opportunity. The next will engage investors. Governments will meet development partners. Financial institutions will interact with developers. Innovators will showcase new technologies. Young professionals will be therefore encourage every participant to take immense opportunities available through this conference. Share your experiences, build partnership across borders. Let this conference produce practical outcomes capable of transforming lives across Africa. Our international delegates welcome Nigeria, and particularly from Kenya. I think they actually something I believe that they might need support for would have taken note of. It's quite. Your presence enriches this conference and reinforces the growing spirit of African cooperation and continental integration. I appreciate your commitment to African housing. Let AIH at 20 become a turning point in African journey. Let this legacy edition inspire a new generation of bold reforms, stronger partnerships, increased investments, and practical solutions across our. I now formally welcome all of us to the 20th. Our partnerships be productive. May our continent prosper. I welcome you all. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can make it louder for the chairman of this occasion. no other but Senator Pius. Thank you very much, sir. Very distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, at this time it is our honor to present an award to a man who is doing a whole lot for housing. The man I'm talking about has made housing and urban development part of his infrastructure. Affordable housing, administration of affordable housing, and has undertaken urban renewal initiatives, including the opening of roads, drainage systems, and public infrastructure in his state. His administration has also invested in roads, electricity, and water supply to support both existing and newly developing residential areas. The state has encouraged partnership with private developers to increase housing delivery and attract investment into the real estate. Yes, I am talking about no other but the executive governor of Katsina State, Umar. As I want a round of applause for him, Deputy Governor Farouk Lawal to receive the award. And to do us the honors to present this award, please help me welcome the Chairman AIHS Advisory Board, Surveyor Suleiman Hassan Zama, to help us present the award. Please, a round of applause for him. Keep clapping till he gets here. Thank you very much.
Carry your Bible. Thank you very much. It as though from now going forward, we'll only be handling Katsina issues. Please put your hands together for them. We especially appreciate the entire delegation, both from the state and the federal, that represent Katsina. And you agree with me. As from outside. Please, can we just, especially for ourselves now, not for any other person, for ourselves. Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the next is very important, and I need your attention. The next person, of course, is described the importance of housing as a very iconic section. It begins with a foundation deep enough to carry tomorrow's dream. It's bedrock of knowledge and an engineer and a street. One governance and development with strength, precision, vision, and integrity. Ladies and gentlemen, stands at the rooftop of Nigeria and urban development, overseeing the nation's blueprint for shelter, cities of hope, and representing here today both himself, his vision and his thought deeply rooted in the heart of the president. So permit me, therefore, welcome the representative excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, who is represented here today by the Honorable Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Engineer Dr. Muttaka Rabi Dharma. Please put your hands together for him. Can we clap for him, please? May I say he has been patient. Thank you, Your Excellency.
So much. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wa salatu wa salam ala sayyidina Rasulillah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I stand here to represent Mr. President Aswaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and to read his address. Before then, however, O God of creations, grant us this one request to build a house, all and house Nigeria, where no one is excluded, and so we shall continue to live in peace. Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Aswaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. His Excellency, the Governor of Katsina State, ably represented by the Deputy Governor, other representatives of the government, distinguished Senator Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, who is the Chairman, Senate Committee on Housing and Urban Development, my boss, former Senate President, former Secretary to the Federal Government, distinguished Senator Ayim, who is here, the Chairman of the occasion, Royal Highnesses here present, former Governor of Cross River State, members of the National Assembly here present, members of the state assemblies here, heads of federal and state agencies and departments, chairman of the advisory board, chairman of the board of trustees, team members from the UN Habitat and other departmental partners here, distinguished for African countries, invited guests and stakeholders, members, ladies and gentlemen, assalamu alaikum. It is with great pleasure that I address this distinguished gathering as a 20th anniversary edition of the African International Show, AIHS, a remarkable milestone that celebrates 2 decades of unwavering commitment and investment, innovation, and policy dialogue across our continent. First, I wish to congratulate the convener, the organizing committee, and all stakeholders whose dedication and vision have transformed the African International Housing Show into Africa's premier platform for housing and construction discourse. That this platform has been sustained for 20 consecutive years, growing steadily in relevance and reach, is a testament to the vision behind it, an achievement well deserving of celebrations. This year's theme, Housing solutions for low income in Africa is timely and relevant. It addresses one of the most pressing developmental challenges in our continent and presents opportunities for government, investors, development partners, financial institutions, professionals, and the private sector to pursue practical, sustainable solutions through deeper collaborations. Housing is more than a shelter. It is a catalyst for economic growth, social stability, job creation, improved public health, and national development. Every investment in housing stimulates multiple sectors, creates employment opportunities, strengthens local industries, and ultimately improves the quality of life for our people. A nation that houses its citizens with dignity builds a foundation for a productive and cohesive society. My administration remains steadfast in its commitment to ensuring that every Nigerian has access to decent, affordable, and dignified housing. Under the New Hope agenda, we have elevated housing from a purely social service to a strategic driver of economic growth, job creation, industrialization, and inclusive national development. Accordingly, we have embarked on far-reaching reforms to expand the supply of affordable housing, strengthen housing finance, modernize land administration, promote urban renewal, encourage the local production of building materials, attract private investment, and improve institutional. Today, New Hope largest house tensions in Nigeria's history. Across the federation is progressing under the New Hope cities and estates with 14 flagship projects stages of development, 1,102 housing units. In the phase, we have expanded the program to all states of the federation and the Federal Capital Territory. A lot of delivering 100,000 affordable housing units through outright purchase, mortgage financing, and rent-to-own options for low and middle-income Nigerians is on the way. This project has simultaneously economic growth, creating jobs, and the introduction of value chain. We have also accelerated the expansion of the National Housing Program, completing inherited projects across the country while initiating new developments in demand. In line with our collaborative approach, completed estates have been handed over to state governments for allocation to deserving citizens, ensuring timely occupation and maximum social and economic impact. Through strategic public-private partnerships and innovative financing arrangements, funds, Nigeria, the family Nigeria opportunity for affordable home ownership. Major renewed hope city projects are making significant nationwide. Renewed hope housing in Ibe, and the 2,207 units in Lambu, Kano State. Beneficiaries have already taken possession of homes under the Renewed Hope Rent-to-Home Owner Scheme, demonstrating our determination to translate policy into tangible benefits. Beyond housing construction, sustainable communities require quality infrastructure and effective urban planning. Our National Urban Renewal Program is providing critical infrastructure, including roads, drainage systems, water sanitation, street lighting, also to slum upgrading and creation of sustainable that can support Nigeria. Recognizing the need for data-driven policy, the federal government has commenced the National Housing Data Program, established planning, investment decisions, development, and policy. We are also designing the National Digital Land Information System, promoting geospatial mapping and land governance to improve transparency, reduce transaction costs, and facilitate easier access to land for development. To promote local content through support for building materials manufacturing hubs and the of indigenous technologies, reducing dependencies on imports, lowering costs, creating manufacturing jobs, conserving foreign exchange, and strengthening Nigeria's industrial base. Housing has become a major platform for economic diversification and inclusive growth. Looking ahead, ladies and gentlemen, the federal government is advancing the proposed Tinubu Mass Social Housing Scheme, a transformative initiative designed to deliver about 160,000 affordable housing units in 707 areas of Nigeria in 2 phases. Program with greater access to housing for low-income householders, informal sector workers, young families, and vulnerable Nigerians. This initiative complements our broader Renewed Hope housing program, reinforcing our commitment to ensuring that every Nigerian has the opportunity to own or occupy a decent home. We are equally committed to creating an enabling environment that attracts both domestic and international investment to Nigeria's housing and infrastructure sectors. We recognize that government alone cannot bridge Africa's housing deficit. Sustainable progress demands strong partnerships among governments, financial institutions, development partners, the private sector, as communities, each putting unique strengths towards a shared goal. I'm particularly pleased that this conference continues to provide a strategic platform for policy dialogue, knowledge sharing, technology, and regional cooperation. Engagement and Africa's unique housing challenges. Nigeria remains to work with sister African nations, regional institutions, multilateral organizations, and development partners to promote inclusive urban development, climate-resilient infrastructure, sustainable cities, and affordable housing for all of our people. As we commemorate 20 years of the Africa International Housing Show, I urge all participants to move beyond discussion and translate ideas into actionable partnerships and measurable outcomes. Outcomes that will positively impact the millions of Africans about this housing. Organizers for their vision and resilience in sustaining this important platform for 2 decades. All actors, investors, associations, policymakers, and beyond for our continued support and commitment to transforming the housing sector. I trust that the deliberations at this conference will yield practical recommendations to strengthen housing policies, expand investment opportunities, improve access to affordable housing finance, and accelerate sustainable housing delivery across Africa. On behalf of the government and people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I wish you all fruitful deliberations and a most successful conference. It is now my honor on behalf of the President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to formally declare the 20th anniversary edition of the Africa International Housing Show open. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Put your hands together. Go. May I also especially one woman who represents a special Nigeria, a financial strategist, a compassionate philanthropist, and one of those who has continued to uplift. May I say the founder of that and former Honorable Minister of Finance, Republic of Nigeria, Her Excellency Mrs. Kemi Adeosun. Please put your hand. Thank you very much, ma'am. We are honored to have you. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, before we take we'll just put picture of those in front, and then afterwards we'll allow the Honorable Minister to go and inspect with others and inspect our booths to just see what it is we are doing here. We started with 10 and now we are over 4,000, and that's something to celebrate. Please put your hands together once more for Barrister Festus Adebayo. May I at this point invite the Honorable Minister, the Chairman, the former Governor of Cross River State, representative of the SGF, our Royal Fathers, and representative of the Senate President, our Board Chairman, the President of REDAN, to just come to the front so we can take a group picture, and afterwards we'll go. While we are taking this picture, the UN Habitat video can play, please. UN Habitat, thank you very much for packaging that very informative material. We can use it here.
Excellencies, honorable guests, distinguished delegates, colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm morning to all of you. It is a privilege to address the Africa International Housing Show as it marks its 20th anniversary. Over 2 decades, the Africa National Housing Show has grown into one of the continent's most important platforms for housing dialogue, investment, and innovation. The organizers for their vision and their commitment to Africa's urban ordinary estimated 1.5 billion people will live in African urban centers. This is not
Please,
simply a
technical crew, can we
demographic
move this
statistic.
podium, please? Technical crew, can you help us move this podium?
The choices we make today about housing, land, infrastructure, and finance will determine where growth becomes prosperity or peril. The housing deficit on the African continent remains acute, estimated at over 50 million units and growing. Yet, within that challenge lies an immense opportunity. Africa's housing market, if unlocked, represents one of the greatest investment frontiers of our time for developers, financiers, and communities alike. UN Habitat stands alongside partners across the continent to turn opportunity into reality. Through the Africa Affordable Housing Compact, we are working with the private sector and development finance institutions should enabling environments, mobilize capital, and deliver solutions. Watch. Showcasing possibility to delivering it. I wish you productive, inspiring, and action-oriented
all COOs, CEOs, and COIs, please, just behind this for you. This is very important for you. Let's stay behind. Thank all our thank you for the honor. For those from Kenya, we have made available Yamachoma and Ogali for you. I'm sure that you will eat some before you leave, but if you don't find it, you can replace it with tuwo. For those of you who have not had, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Nia Kilusi. Thank you so much. We are honored to have you. He has been on ground for the past 3 days, making sure everything is working. Thank you, sir. With you and those who are in traffic, thank you. More, thank you very much for supporting us. Appreciate you.
CEO can delve into that immediately. And we distinguished will be having quite a number we'll be having representative from Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. We'll also be having representatives from the state sector. We'll also be having representatives distinguished session begins now. Please, of Greens and the person tomorrow. Around the doors.
Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We're here to an honor and each keynote speaker are people who want to that is what's important. How do we track the house problem? Keynote speaker to on the seat. We have just for our information, honored to the Honorable of Finance, now founder and chairperson of Dashmi. Yes, sorry, I was talking about the keynote speaker, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, former Honorable Minister of Finance. It is quite notable that during her tenure, she was responsible for a lot of remarkable achievements. Part of it is the birth of family fund. We all know what family owns fund is. It was during her tenure. That was which has intervened and provided in the country. This program, this intervention started of company. So we have the that's why it's also notable that made it possible to avoid and reduce the number of ghost workers. This is the major issue we have. Ghost workers are people who we may sometimes call them undocumented, who don't come to work but they are paid salaries. This is usually a leakage. It was also and of course, we also have quite a number of other things which are notable, which she was able to achieve. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome to the podium Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, our keynote speaker. Can we give her a round of applause? All right. All right. Before she comes, having some of the other discussants, we have another presentation by the Managing Director founder and consultant of B. Adedipe Associates Limited. Can you give me a round of applause, please? Professor Adedipe needs no further introduction. He's a as I said, is of bankers and also fellow institute of accountants, ICANN as well. Thank you so much, Prof, for joining us on stage today. We also have joining us upstage here. We expect the MD of Federal Mortgage Bank. He will soon join us. He was here earlier. I'm sure he's going around doing the rounds. For him, and Talupe ecosystem, Mr. Felix Achibiri. You can give me a round of applause. Achibiri. Please join us. Okay. While wait for the others to join up on stage, it is important to talk about the importance. We'll be listening. Nigerian, like Africa and all the other countries, we have a huge formal sector.